you know. Yeah. Yes. Well, humorous, isn't it? Well,
what you do with that information?
What you do with the information is solely your responsibility. But there's a whip and some backsides being whipped. It's a day in politics. Now, before we take a short break, there's been a win to all those people who've been victims to gender-based violence. And what we're talking about, or rather highlighting very briefly, is that a man who chopped off the hands of his wife was sentenced yesterday to 30 years in jail. As we take a short break. That is none other than a story. This is a tale of supposed infertility, a desperate brief affair to get pregnant and save a marriage, a tragic consequences, and finally some kind of justice, and a child by another man. Now, this is a ruling that was made by the High Court of Machakos yesterday that sentenced a man who in 2016 chopped off his wife Jacqueline Mwende's hands to 30 years imprisonment. I think this is something we need to discuss tomorrow on Trending Topics, but for now, we take a short break. Remember, you can get further details in regard to stories that have been making headlines on our website, that is www.kbc.co.ke.
Nakwambia 2021 ni vitu noma na QuickBid. Siku ya leo tunakupea Hisense TV.
Oh yes, na ni rahisi sana. Unaenda kwenye lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number ni 4032353. 4032353. Kwenye account ekelea TV kama code kisha nambari unapenda, alafu amount ni 20 bob.
Peke yake. Alafu kumbuka utakelea pin yako. Hivyo ndivyo utakuwa umekelea bid kwenye quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka ni bidhaa bora kwenye bei ya
chini kwa chini.
Chini kwa chini.
Jiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16. Kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bidi ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio ununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1. On the next episode,
ustawishaji wa muundombinu ni muhimu katika kuafikia nguzo kuu ya maendeleo ya Rais Uhuru Kenyatta. Daraja la Likoni ni uwekezaji unaowaokolea watu wengi muda mwingi. Wiki hii kwenye Project 254.
Katika feri umeona pale kuweka nidhamu kidogo ni shida. Hasa lakini hapa it gives you freedom, it gives you space.
Kama kuna investors wenye biashara, hii ni opportunity nzuri ya kuinvest upande wa Likoni.
Nilisikia raha sana vile imejengwa. Nikatembea kama na paa.
Na miradi kama hii tunatarajia iwe mingi pia ili tuchape kazi.
Good morning. In case you are just joining us, karibu sana to the program. This is Good Morning Kenya. How was your night? Do check in. We want to know how you are this morning, where you're watching us from. Use the hashtag Good Morning Kenya on Twitter. Our official station handle is at KBC Channel 1. And do remember to also tag me and my colleagues on those tweets as well. At Doreen Arange, at Ray Manyara, and at Jane Boy is how you can find us individually on the socials. For those who have already started checking in, Shapiro na kuona hapo, thank you so much. Unasema good morning ladies, looking lovely kama K, tuko sawa. Yes sir. Looking lovely kama listening to you guys as a ray of sunshine. Thika is cold this morning. Nonetheless, we appreciate you for being with us. We will warm you up, so do stay with us. Keep us company up until the end of the program. We also have Keep Simaridadi watching live at Pale Kabarak University main campus. Thank you so much. I also see, who is this? Nere Msangi Yanga. There's also Lagat PK. George Kania, thank you so much for tuning in. We always appreciate you guys. Keep checking in. Where are you watching us from this morning? I will be getting to your feedback in not too long. So as I had mentioned earlier on in the intro, today we're going to be having a conversation that revolves around COVID times, pre-COVID times, COVID times, and post-COVID times, how we have had to adjust, and especially when it comes to how we traditionally consider doing work. We are so used to waking up, going to the office or going to your place of business, performing your duties. At the end of the day, you get back home. But during COVID, all that was thrown out the window unless you were part of the essential services. And looking at most businesses, they had to shift from the traditional offices onto the online spaces. But that also was something that so many people were not prepared for. There was a lot of madhogodhanio up and down, a lot of confusion, a lot of back and forth in regards to this online space, just trying to find your footing on how to work on the online space and still keep the businesses afloat. And as a result of this platform, so many people had different experiences, and one actually resulted to a whole comical sitcom situation, and that is what we want to talk about this morning. And I have one of those particular guests that were in that platform. We are going to see if we'll get some others via Zoom, but we'll be letting you know in not too long. But my first guest is with me in studio this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Karibu sana to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for making time to be with us. There's your camera. Why don't you say hi to our viewers, give us your social media handles so that they can also interact with you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, and I'm so glad to be here. My name is Kevin Osore, and I'm an actor at Virtual Colleagues, and my social media handles, Kevin Eden at Facebook, and Kevin Eden Osore on Instagram as well. And I'm so happy to be here, and I just hope that we are going to have fun today.
Absolutely, yeah. That is what we want to have fun, and just basing on your experiences with the Virtual Colleagues platform. First of all, Virtual Colleagues, what was the idea behind it? I know it was, just based on the COVID times, the new reality, but at what point did you guys come to the realization, like, you know what, this is an actual story that we need to tell. So many people might be relating to it.
Yeah. I mean, Vanessa, who is in the UK, she's the creator, the writer, and the producer. She had all these ideas. Like, she's always wanted to do film and write film.
Yes.
Before that was before COVID. Then when COVID came about, it was kind of, she just wanted to get something out, because now everybody is in their houses, bored, lockdown. And so she just wrote the script, and then she started looking for the cast members, of which it was quite a special thing, because we are like a group of 4 in different countries. Yeah, like I'm the only one who is in Kenya, the other one is in Ghana, and the 2 actresses and Vanessa as well are in the UK. So for her, she wanted to educate, she wanted to also entertain, because it's comedy, and also it's like renewable energy, solar. Yeah, I mean, people always talk about solar and all this. They want to migrate from electricity to solar, which is cheaper and also efficient. So she wanted to also bring that about in this comedy. And also women in leadership, because our lead is a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, women in leadership, we want to empower these women, man. Yeah.
Hey. Now, for you as part of the cast, how was this, and especially given this is not something that we are used to as the African culture, you know, having sitcoms, and especially via Zoom, because so many people discovered Zoom last year.
Oh, yeah.
And it's something that was there, but the fact that everything had to shift there, and also the audience had to now go look for content and information there, as a creative, how was this experience for you, exclusively just focusing on this Zoom platform that you were also not as used to?
Let me tell you, I also discovered Zoom last year, to be honest. Yeah, and I just had it on my phone like last year. And at first, I didn't even know how to operate it. Like, I didn't even know how to log in, like, where do we start from? This is just Zoom. And it's new to Africa, is new to Kenyans. But when this film came along, we had to adopt. We had to adopt. We had to learn. We had to Google stuff. We had to do research on how we can operate this Zoom for it to be efficient, you know. And it's been a crazy journey, you know, with matters, internet.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean.
How long did it take for you to at least just relax even when you're part of this whole comedy?
Oh, it took me like a few months, to be honest.
Yeah?
Yeah, with so many rehearsals back to back. And yeah, it took me months. It took me months with a lot of practice, a lot of rehearsals behind it. So, and that's how we had to adopt and cope with it.
Do you feel like this was such a huge challenge looking at the film industry here in Kenya, how we traditionally consider films, we have to wait for it to premiere, go watch it, and also not taking advantage of this online platform that seems to be effective, but we just overthink how to go about it?
Yeah, true. You've said it. And it's crazy because I don't think we have this kind of content which has been done on Zoom. It's not very famous here in Kenya. Like, it's not so many people who are doing it.
Yes.
And it's actually a game changer, because in Kenya we are complaining of how production is like it's very expensive and all this. But here on Zoom, yeah, it's very expensive.
Yeah.
But here on Zoom, you only have your internet. I mean, if you have your script and good script, and you have good internet, you can do a whole film on Zoom. I mean, this is like a 15 minutes episode that we've done, episode 2. We have already released like episode 1 last year, December. So it's a game changer for us. I mean, why can't we also adapt into this? And I'm so privileged to be part of this cast, man. Like, I'm really learning a lot. I'm really learning a lot.
Yeah.
It's an international. I'm doing this with international people who are abroad, and we are really adapting to this internet thing. And I just hope that my brothers and sisters can also flow with it, adapt, and work towards this, you know, embracing the internet and the Zoom thing and all that. And
it's a new platform that we need to understand the potential that it has, and especially for up-and-coming creatives.
Yeah.
You see, again, the issue of resources has been a big challenge, especially for creatives. And looking at COVID, it did a number on so many creatives. So many gigs were put on hold, so many films were put on hold. So if someone was actually depending on, you know, a payday from some of those films, that didn't come through because, you know, they didn't get to show. And then we have this online platform that just ni kama uli scratch ku reveal.
Yep.
And then there it is. So we actually have some of our guests joining us via Zoom who are part of this particular cast. We are soon going to be joined by Vanessa and Juliana, part of the cast. Vanessa, again, is the script writer and the producer as well.
Yep.
Yes, she'll be joining us to just tell us a bit about what pushed her to this. My directors will be letting us know how soon they can do that. But let me come back to you. Looking at our country and how we embrace creatives and the film industry, do you feel like the county governments, even national government could go a long way in helping grow these platforms, as opposed to how we're traditionally used to waiting for only those who are interested in the private sector to do so?
Oh yeah, I mean the government has a bigger part into like playing for this to be a success. I mean, I heard of what was it, balloon something that was bringing cheap internet.
Yes.
I don't know where it went, but that could also, you know, like it could have helped big time into going into these bringing creatives into the internet. I mean, it was going to the mashinani areas, the balloon, providing, you know, quick internet. And you see, this could have been a game changer. I mean, you could have put a team together online, do a film online, and release it online without struggles of going, you know, like transport and all, site location and all that. So I think the government has a big role to play into helping the creatives, man, into getting this space. I mean, the outside world is doing it. Why can't we also go that direction? They can help us with providing cheap internet, fast and reliable.
Yes.
You know, I mean, the smartphones are all over now. You know, anybody can have a smartphone, but really, the government has a bigger part into playing for us to get our content out there.
All right. I like the fact that you've highlighted, you know, these 4G balloons that we had the other time, as opposed to them being redirected in some of the rural areas. They should have also considered some of the urban areas and more so focusing on the creatives.
Exactly.
All right. I like that. I don't know if you are ready with the Zoom for our guests who are joining us. We have Vanessa and Juliana. Mr. Director? All right. I'm being told we are almost ready to have them. We will be joined by Juliana and Vanessa in this conversation, just trying to understand also how they feel about this whole aspect of taking film and all forms of film and more so comedy on the online platform, just understanding from their countries how things are. Now, from your interaction with them on a very personal level, what are some of those differences that you noticed when it comes to the film industry here and there? You're like, wow.
Wow.
They do that, we don't. We do this, they don't. How was that for you?
Professionalism. One. Oh man, like.
Wait, who's not professional in this case? As professional.
I mean, just the structure, like how you manage your team from having, you know, putting time into your craft, putting time into your work, you know, rehearsals before the shooting. And I mean, these people are always there on time for rehearsal. It's not about African time, you know, like somebody after 40 minutes they're showing up. No, like it's always about time. And if we have a project we have to release or like on 20th of February, it has to be released during that time. And I mean, it's just great. I'm really learning a lot to being efficient, you know, taking my work seriously. You know, like for them, once the project was out, like Vanessa is doing a great job into marketing and you know, popularizing this content. She has done it in Nigeria and in Ghana, now in Kenya, at her comfort of her seat in the UK. You know, like
imagine that.
They are very serious. They take everything serious. It doesn't matter whether it's small or big, but the level of professionalism is just late. It's on another level.
And do you think that is one of the things that fills us as creatives here in Kenya? We take it casually because, you know, it's creative, it's boundless. We don't have like structures that guide us.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to several productions here in Kenya, and for you being told once you learn your lines, come through, we do the shoot home, you know. And now, like, you haven't rehearsed, you haven't invested your time into that craft. Like, how do you have a good work out there if you haven't put time into that? I mean, time makes perfect. If you rehearse a lot for film, that's how you get good shots.
Yes.
and good content out there. That's how people are working out there. And for us, we just want to make it quick, save on time, save on money, but we do some shady job and
at the end of the day, it shows.
Yeah, we won't be recognized internationally. That's why we are getting it hard to penetrate the market. And like our Nigerian brothers who are really doing well out there, for us, we still, we still have a little bit of time to go. I can't say we are bad.
We're not doing that badly, but of course, there's room for improvement.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, before we continue looking at some of those aspects, being informed that we are ready with Juliana and Vanessa, who are joining us via Zoom. Hi, ladies.
Hello.
All right. Don't worry. This is part of adjusting to Zoom.
Oh, this is one of the challenges that we've
the
been
boundaries.
facing. The time zone.
Yes. Differences.
Internet. And it's just crazy, man. I mean, these are...
You feel us.
Yeah, I understand. I totally understand.
Yes, but we are looking to adjust that again. This is why live TV gets to give you a live feel of everything on ground.
Yeah, it's real. It's real.
I love how you're agreeing with this because you've experienced it firsthand.
I feel it like 100%.
All
I
right.
feel it.
Now, before we get Juliana and Vanessa to join us, looking at the support that just interacting with them on that platform, how was it looking at the local support? Because, Nigeria, they consume their own. In the UK, how is the film there in terms of local support?
Oh, I think I don't know about the local support, but I think they really consume their own. They really consume their own. And it's because they have options. Like these people, they produce movies every day. And TV series, they produce them every day. So, I mean, for example, if I come knocking on your door each and every day and you don't want to see me, I mean, I'll just be annoying. Every day I knock on your door, I'll just be annoying until that time when you'll just have to open your door and you'll be like, let me talk to this person and so that he stop disturbing me. That's the kind of situation that's happening there. They're producing content every day, and it makes them, support and market their own content. So I think in terms of the support they're giving the content creators and film is just great. It's immense compared to us. I mean, for us, I think we are consuming a lot of also international stuff. I think it's because of quality. I don't know, but that's a topic for another day.
We'll be getting to that aspect of quality, but that you've mentioned something that I believe goes hand in hand with support, and this is also consistency on the part of the filmmakers. As the film industry here in Kenya, are we as consistent with putting out content? Ama we usually put out, unawe, unangoja, you take a break, go do other things. Is that also a problem that contributes to this lack of local support? Yeah,
that's a problem because, I mean, we put out content. I think there's a wave that went on last year. These films like going on to Netflix. I think they've just been like a few. And people are really talking about all that. You've heard of 40 Sticks and all that. Yeah, people really talked so much about that. And this is my question. Why are we only talking about one movie now?
Yes.
In the whole country, why are we only talking about one movie? That people are feeling, okay, it's great. It's not bad, but we should be having a lot of that.
So much more.
Yeah, so much more. Like, what's stopping us? What's stopping us on producing a lot of content? Yeah, so we need to really up our game in consistency, man. We need to have movies being produced left, right, and center every day. I know there's so many challenges about that, but there are people who can do it out there. There are people who
we also have solutions. It's not just about complaining about our problems.
Yeah.
All right, let's now get Vanessa. I believe Vanessa is now with us, joining via Zoom. Hi, Vanessa. How are you doing?
I'm Good, thank you. It's very early, but I'm really happy to be here.
Don't worry, it's also quite a bit early here, so we are together in spirit. Welcome to the program. Why don't you start by saying hi to our viewers, and maybe you could give us your social handles?
Hello, hello everyone. My name is Vanessa Wungeya, and I'm the creator of Virtual Colleagues. And you can find me on Instagram at VAE, which is the acronym of my names, VAE Prod.
All right, there you have it. Now, we just want to start by understanding your personal experience as being part of this African comedy series that is now using Zoom as a platform to just keep the conversation about film going. How was it for you?
Well, it's been as Kevin said, it's been a crazy journey.
Yeah.
Because I'm the writer, and I've always wanted to write, and I've been writing for a very long time. And 2020, I decided, no, I'm going to approach producer. I'm going to get something produced. This is the year.
Yes.
And then the pandemic came along, and you were asking about what's the support level in the UK, and it's quite interesting because I got the idea from a competition that I saw in the UK for upcoming writers. It was to write a short on Zoom. And I thought, oh, that's actually very interesting, because then you can bypass the whole lockdown situation and still have great content out there. So it stayed at the back of my mind. And then I also had on the other side the whole renewable energy sector subject that I've wanted to deal with, and I wanted to create something interesting for people to connect with. So I started thinking about the two together, how I can mix the two together, and then I started the whole writing process. And it was quite challenging because movies is something visual, so we're taking away some of that visual aspect, and we're still trying to make it very entertaining for the audience, even though you can't see as much. So it's been a challenge, but so far it's been very, very interesting. I'm loving it.
I know. And did you expect the response and the feedback that it has received so far, given this is an entirely new space that you are stepping into, trying to merge all these different aspects of solar energy, women in leadership, the film industry, and also using comedy as the center, the drive to keep this conversation going?
So the response so far has been incredible. Did I expect it? May I say yes? May I say, because it's a lot of hard work from everyone. So I could not expect less than this, if I may say so. I do believe that when you have great content, great actors, great story, like it has to be, it cannot go wrong, according to me. That's my standards.
Putting yourself out there and just hoping for the best.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, that's why I really worked really hard on the stories to make sense. And I also have two other writers helping me. And one is in the US, so you were mentioning about the time zone. But that's the beauty of Zoom, is that you can really tap into anyone everywhere in the world and come up with something absolutely incredible. So that's why, we worked really hard on the story so it can make sense, and it can be funny, and it can be enjoyable. So for people to laugh and just have a good time. And also then at the back of their mind, think about renewables as a solution.
Now, for most of us who get to consume the end product, we just get to see this 15-minute episodes that are up online, and we don't understand the hours of labor that went behind this and the challenges that you encountered therein. Maybe you could just let us know, what are some of those things that you had to deal with, you had to overcome to bring this idea that you had to life and show it as you see it in your mind?
Sure. So first, the technical aspect of Zoom.
Yeah.
So we started using Zoom, or I started using Zoom the same like last year. And I thought, oh my God, how am I going to arrange all the different screens together? So I had to learn. I had to use a lot of YouTube tutorials on how to make the best of Zoom as a start. Then internet is an issue. And may I just say that actually most of the time in Kenya, the internet is quite good.
Yeah.
I've had to upgrade my internet here in the UK so it can work, because I would have had like a lot of issues otherwise. So hey, big up to internet providers in Kenya.
Hey.
Yes, it's been so far I can't really complain of the internet from Kevin's side. Then the other issue is the delay of internet. So, because usually when you have a comedy, it's a very fast, very quick kind of response among the cast. The problem with internet is often we have delays. So you would have an actor saying something and then there would be like a 1 or 2 second delay, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're watching, it seems weird. So we had to almost learn to cut the other one to start, so the conversation is flowing like naturally and forget about internet issues.
Yeah.
So and then obviously there is the time zone, because so at the moment we're producing episode 3, and it's going to be directed by one of the writers who is in the US. So it's like 8 hours difference from the US to Kenya, and trying to schedule on. I must confess.
All right. Now, just stay with us. We'll be getting back to you. We also have Juliana, who will be joining us in a bit. We are here complaining of how internet could be a problem, and there are people saying our internet is good as Kenyans. But remember, we are having this conversation about the film industry here in Kenya, just trying to understand, what are the things that we need to adopt and adapt with, just trying to keep our creatives afloat, keep the film industry thriving despite the challenges that we are experiencing, have been experiencing, and what lessons are we learning from this pandemic that we can carry on with us to just make sure that we are not always victims of circumstances, and especially when it comes to the film industry. We want to take a very quick break, but we'll be right back to continue with this conversation, so do stay with us.
Nakwambia 2021 ni vitu noma na QuickBid. Siku ya leo tunakupea Hisense TV.
Oh yes, na ni rahisi sana. Unaenda kwenye lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number ni 4032353. 4032353. Kwenye account ekelea TV kama code, kisha nambari unapenda, alafu amount ni 20 bob.
Peke yake. Alafu kumbuka utakelea pin yako. Hivyo ndivyo utakuwa umekelea bid kwenye quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka ni bidhaa bora kwenye bei ya
chini kwa chini. Chini kwa chini.
Jiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza Paybill, kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16, kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio ununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1. On the next episode of
Nini? Unajua sina hii. Una nini? Mimi sijui una nini. Ah, boxer.
Rudisha glasi ndani. Kama uko na kiu ngonga maji. Sudi.
Hata zangu zile nimekuwa nikivaa. Azifue.
Tangu ukuja hazijasafishwa.
Tangu nije hapa.
Welcome back. We are glad you are still with us. This is Good Morning Kenya. My name is Jane Wamboy. We want to continue with our lifestyle conversation for today. And this is all about the film industry and understanding the new directions that we need to consider and take on as we learn from what this pandemic has had to teach us the hard way. We have in studio Kevin Osore, who's a filmmaker, helping us with this conversation. We also have two ladies who are joining us via Zoom. There is Kevin on your screen, Salimia Raya. And also right now we are joined by Juliana, who's all the way in London. Good morning, Juliana. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
I am good. Thank you for waking up so early to be part of this conversation.
You are most welcome.
All right, now we just want to know.
To be here.
All right, how was your experience being part of this, one-of-a-kind form of comedy series, and more so on Zoom, which is a new platform for so many people?
It has had its challenges, but I've enjoyed it. I've learned a lot from it. Like Vinda was saying, as an actor, it's so important to feed off of the energy from the other actors, and you're giving back and forth to each other. And when you have something like the internet in between that, you now have to kind of change and be able to hold on to the energy that you got just before and bring that in. So it's been interesting, and learning to play, with your feelings and your other actors' feelings, and just, you have to be even more focused than normal, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And what would you say was the big take home for you in terms of comparing how we traditionally used to film and looking at your country specifically, how film is done there as compared to now this new platform where there's not so much going on physically, everything is just virtual. How do you compare the two?
So, for example, in episode 2, my character is jogging in the Zoom meeting. And on a normal scene, someone would have done my makeup, someone would be holding the mic for me, someone would be holding the camera. But here I'm running on the streets of London with the phone in my own hand and trying to manage the way I run so the phone is not shaking too much and people, we can get a good shot. So with things like that, it's challenging, but it's fun. I love that, being pushed like that, if that makes sense. So in that sense, you're doing everything yourself, and then you have the guidance from your director. Whereas on a normal scene set, everything is done for you, and all you have to do is focus on, being your character, being, Tamisa in my case.
All right, just stay with us. We'll be coming back to you in a bit. I like how you're ending with, if that makes sense. We'll be coming back to you in a bit, so stay with us. But let me come to you, Kevin. Looking at some of the topics that have been incorporated in this particular film, renewable energy, this is still a very new conversation, and especially looking at our continent, and we are being alive to the facts. It's not looking down on ourselves. It's a journey that we are slowly getting onto. Looking at some of these topics, do you feel that this online platform is something that can help sustain this conversation for the long run?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, the main purpose why Vanessa wrote this was to emotionally attach people with the renewable energy. I mean, people are just talking about solar panels, but they're not really going into it.
It's just talking.
Yeah, it's just talking.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so Vanessa wrote this so that people can understand, people can be attached to it, so that people, you know, it can be our daily conversation, yeah? And I like the trend here in Kenya. I mean, lately, people have been kind of switching to solar panels.
Yes.
A lot. Even Kenya Power is like, yo, you need to switch to solar panels. Come talk to us first. Like, yo, what's going on? And so it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So people will understand solar panels. It will be kind of a daily song.
Yeah.
And this is kind of where we should be going, really. Yeah, people shouldn't be complaining about energy and they're not doing something about it.
Yeah.
You know, about tokens, everything, people are just complaining, but what's the solution?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so you feel this is a platform that can really sustain this conversation on a borderless level?
Definitely.
For each country.
Yeah.
Now, I also got to watch, I think it was episode 2 when Juliana's character was running, and throughout the entire 2 episodes, each character is embracing their own local space. Like if you're in Nigeria, you have the Nigerian accent. If you're in Kenya, unaongea kama Mkenya. Originality and owning your country's way of expression. How was that for you? And the fact that it was incorporated in the film and you had not told to not have an accent, speak mainstream English or Kiswahili.
Oh, so, I mean, I'm sure if Vanessa could have been like Kenyan, could have been writing this script, then I could have been having
Swahili lines
the Swahili lines. Now, manze kizungu noma. Hey, yo, nina sweat bana.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, the good thing about Vanessa is that she actually wanted to incorporate the accent things in this play, because Juliana and Winnie, if you hear them very well, they have like a good Nigerian accent. I mean,
my friends, eh?
Yeah, and it's. I mean, I just hear them when we are rehearsing, when we are shooting, and I'm like, wow, that's strong Nigerian accent. I mean, I've interacted with Nigerians before, so I can tell the difference. And also, there's a guy in Ghana, Brian. He's not here with us.
Yeah.
He also has a very strong accent. And for me here, I really don't know what my accent is. Like, I'm just speaking from my own understanding of English.
But you know, the fact that we, I feel as a people, we sometimes shy back from embracing some of those things that define us as Kenyans. You see, we have Gengeton conversations and guys are like, "Aiwe, apana, that's too Kenyan." And yet, it is something that you'll find is uniquely Kenyan, you know?
Yeah.
Embracing those aspects in film.
I get your point. And actually, this is something that's really, I think it is really kind of dragging us behind.
Yeah.
Because right now, a lot of content out there is being, I mean, I'm talking about our content now. It's being put out in English, like a lot of it.
Yeah.
All right. And where did we get it wrong? Like, where are we basing our film foundation on? Like, should we go back to our native, like Luos do their own things, Kikuyu, Luyas? Should we start from there? Is this how the Nigerians did it?
Yeah.
You know, we know of these Nigerian tribes. We know them, like, yeah, and it's simply because from their film, they are really embracing it. Talking of fufu, talking of all this stuff.
You know,
like, I haven't seen one movie where it's like proper Luya. We have like the Bukusu tradition where there's music, there's dance. We have the Maasai culture. Where are these films, man? We have the people from the coast. Where are these nice dishes? Like, why aren't we seeing them?
As creatives, you're also failing to some extent.
Yes, I mean, I think we should really rethink on what we are basing our film foundation on.
Content-wise.
Content-wise.
Yeah.
I think we should go back.
Okay.
We should go back.
All right. Let's get back with Juliana. And I just want to pose to you a similar question that I had asked Kevin in regards to some of these heavy conversations that we want the globe to hear about, issues, and mostly looking at, you know, renewable energy. It's a conversation that is slowly but surely spreading across the world, but using a Zoom sitcom to propel this conversation. What do you think of it?
I think it's an amazing idea by Vanessa to do that. It's something that our world needs clearly right now with global warming and everything that's happening, and using a show with comedy to spread the idea of renewable energy. Hearing Vanessa talk about it, she's explained how she runs a company with her husband where they sell renewable energy. And she's explained how people have kind of refused the idea because they don't know about it. So a show that's, making it sound cool, making it sound interesting, showing that actually it's the way to go, moving forward. I think it's a fantastic way to put that news out there.
All right. And as a creative looking at your local space, here we're talking with Kevin of how sometimes as the filmmakers, as the creatives, we fail to show those aspects that are authentic to us, that truly define us. Looking at your space and the film industry to be specific, do you feel the local films in your country show who you are as a people to an extent that the world doesn't need to sit down and try to understand who are these people?
Okay, so when you say my country, I currently live in London, but I'm from Nigeria.
Okay.
In the UK, I think it's something that is very much developing. They're not quite there yet. So there is a huge representation for, like the white culture. And it's now that a lot of Black people in the UK are bringing themselves and creating their own content to put it out there and put, Black culture, because they exist. London is not predominantly white. London is full of all sorts. It's very, it's very mixed. So it's starting to get there, and a lot of these things are starting to get picked up and get recognized. On the Nollywood level, it's true, we do have some Nigerian things that are out there, but I think they're starting to get better, because there is a world in which, when you work in Nollywood, you have to sound a certain way, you have to be spoken, when that's not really the Nigerian way. When I'm talking with, my mom, and I wouldn't be sounding English or American, my Nigerian accent will come out strong. And I think it's a shame that sometimes that's hidden, in the films.
All right.
And
now,
it's what I love about
we get
working
to go
with
back to Vanessa. Let me just hear from you when it comes to issues to do with quality. What's your take and your message to filmmakers when it comes to maintaining a certain level of quality, be it this new virtual platform that you guys have, embraced, or the traditional way of doing film?
So in terms of quality, I think we underestimate the time it takes to get a good shot. We just give you an idea. We shot the whole day for 15 minutes of a show. And at the end of the day, I can tell you, we were all drained, all of us. And I wasn't even one of the actors, but I was as drained as all the actors, because it takes I did not imagine how much energy it takes to be in a character, to deliver your line well, to create that atmosphere with your other cast members. It's so much energy. And that's why, in that sense, though, when Kevin was saying about the professionalism, like starting on time, because it takes so long just to get a good shot. So when you start like later on, it just delays everything else, or you have just to cut short on the quality because you don't have that much time. So professionalism is definitely key. Not underestimating the times it takes. And so from the writing side, the writing point of view, I really wanted to explore different subjects. So like the renewable energy, the female leadership, love in general, obviously. And I think that sometimes that would be my advice. Sometimes some of the writers, I think they just cut short and go straight to what has been done before, thinking, oh, but it has worked, so why would it not work again? Which is a formula, but I don't think it moves the industry, the creative industry forward. I think we always have to go for something that hasn't been explored, at least as writers and creatives, because otherwise who's going to bring forward the discussion, so at least people can start having these discussions about some subjects.
All right. Now, speaking of things that haven't been explored, and this is, cross-country cultures. Just looking at that particular film, given from your original country, you can clearly be able to express it. And when it comes to film, you find that it's a fact of the matter is that when it comes to each country, to each their own, and blending different cultures is a problem for so many people from different backgrounds. Using this platform to sort of bring us together as an African community, do you think it's something that can thrive, especially on this platform, and how can it be represented?
Oh, I really hope so. I really want it. So just to give you a bit of my background, so I'm from, maybe you can tell from the accent, my dad is from a Francophone Africa, so from Cameroon. But I grew up in France, and my mom is from the Caribbean. And I grew up with so many different African origins, from most of them Francophones, but like Mali, Senegal, Côte d'Ivoire, Cameroon, Gabon, all of them. So I was used by my upbringing, I was used to be surrounded by different types of people, coming with their own traditions, coming with their own food, their own pride. And this is something that I've always enjoyed personally. So when I started writing this is something that I wanted to recreate, because I believe that we feed off each other's, and as much as possible, we can get the best from the others, trying to learn from the others what is that works for them, and then use it, but then not necessarily just copy it, but just adapt it to your own way of doing things. And I think this is the best way, personally, to go about it.
All right, I like that. But let me do stay with us. We'll be back with you in a minute. Let me come to you, Kevin. Looking at how we can even grow our creatives. Recently, we are seeing talent academies coming up that are fully focused on the creatives. Is that a route that you feel is going, in the long run, to benefit us as a people and most of the creatives in terms of even polishing up on their skills, like refresher courses, especially for drivers, now as drivers of the film industry?
Yeah, I mean, let me just give you an example of me and the cast.
Yeah.
So I have never been to an acting school before. I just woke up and, I did a lot of YouTube, Google, learning theater and film.
School of Hard Knocks.
Yes. While Juliana has been in a school of acting, like for proper course. Like, she has been there with these big actors. She mentions them to me, and I'm like, oh, wow, that's something different. So, I mean, if I want an acting school, like, for instance, right now, where do I go? All right. But then I'm thinking these creatives, these programs that they're coming up, they are really nice, and they will really help us into shaping our acting skills. They will give us the skills that we need, all right, so that we just don't depend on guesswork every time. Like, you're just given a script, you go say your lines, then you're done. I think bringing this educational thing on board, it will really help us into nurturing our talents and putting us in the international markets.
Yes.
Yeah, like, for instance, our own, like Lupita. Lupita has been to a very good school, acting school. Like, she's there because she's learned these things, and she knows how to go around it. I mean, why can't we also adapt the same?
Yes.
We should make these things go public. Like, these people who are training them actors, the acting schools out there, they should go, they should be being advertised all the time, so that somebody knows, I want to be an actor. Where do I go?
Yes.
Where do I get the information from? Yeah, so I think
we professionalize the craft in itself straight from school. Give it as much attention as we would other career paths.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
I love that, because sometimes tunasemanga hii ni side hustle. This is a side hustle.
Yeah.
It is not a fully fledged career. Have a career, film is a side hustle. No, as a creative, you have the right to take it on as a fully fledged career. And as they go about scraping out some of these old courses, film in itself should be something that our education sector should consider. Now, we want to take another quick breather, but we'll be right back to continue with this conversation as we also get to wrap it up. So do stay with us. The hashtag is still Good Morning Kenya on Twitter, at KBC Channel 1 and at Jane Maboy is how you can interact with us. We'll be right back. Don't go too far.
Nakwambia 2021 ni vitu noma na QuickBid. Siku ya leo tunakupea Hisense TV.
Oh yes, na ni rahisi sana. Unaenda kwenye lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number ni 4032353. 4032353. Kwenye account ekelea TV kama code kisha nambari unapenda, alafu amount ni 20 bob.
Peke yake. Alafu kumbuka utakelea pin yako. Hivyo ndivyo utakuwa umekelea bid kwenye quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka ni bidhaa bora kwenye bei ya
chini kwa chini.
Chini kwa chini.
Jiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16, kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio ununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Please forget about her. Live your life in any way you want and let her live her life her way.
Forgive me.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I got distracted. I'm sorry, I wasn't looking.
Oh, but just look at the condition of my car. It's damaged.
Yes, but I'll take care of it. Flavia knows how I feel about you.
What now?
Starting today onwards, you will be working as the new head of export. She'll be ashamed at what a criminal her husband really is. Then I'll be able to carry out my plans smoothly.
On the next episode.
Ustawishaji wa muundombinu ni muhimu katika kuafikia nguzo kuu ya maendeleo ya Rais Uhuru Kenyatta. Daraja la Likoni ni uwekezaji unaowaokolea watu wengi muda mwingi. Wiki hii kwenye Project 254.
Katika feri umeona pale kuweka nidhamu kidogo ni shida. Hasa lakini hapa it gives you freedom, it gives you space.
Kama kuna investors wenye biashara, hii ni opportunity nzuri ya kuinvest upande wa Likoni.
Nilisikia raha sana vile imejengwa. Nikatembea kama na paa.
Na miradi kama hii tunatarajia iwe mingi pia ili tuchape kazi.
Make this Valentine's memorable with KBC Channel 1. We are rewarding you for sharing your love. Simply send a picture of your best moments while watching KBC, either alone or with your loved ones, and stand a chance to be rewarded with a shopping voucher worth 5,000 shillings. Send your pictures to our WhatsApp number 0771 316 959 and let us put a smile on your face this Valentine's. Winners will be announced during our live shows Angaza and Backyard. KBC Channel 1, sharing love, appreciating you. On the next episode of
Nini? Unajua sina hii. Una nini? Mimi sijui una nini.
Boxer. Rudisha glasi ndani. Kama uko na kiu ngonga maji. Sudi.
Hata zangu zile nimekuwa nikivaa azifue.
Tangu ukuja hazijasafishwa.
Tangu nije hapa.
All right, Karibu, we just want to pick up from where we left off before the break. Remember, this is a conversation about the film industry, just crossing borders to understand, you know, the differences here and there, similarities here and there. And my directors are telling me I'm almost out of time in the way I'm loving this conversation. But nonetheless, we are going to be touching base with our ladies who are joining us via Zoom. We have Vanessa and Juliana. And let me start with you, Vanessa, and maybe just your message to other creatives and filmmakers out there when it comes to looking at all possible alternatives that are available to us and not just complaining about, you know, the local situation that we are so used to.
Yes, absolutely. I think especially as creatives, if we call ourselves creatives, we should be looking for creative ways of getting our content out there. And it just happened that with the whole lockdown and pandemic, then Zoom became a way for us to express ourselves and to express our creativity. So, yeah, I don't think as creative we should complain. I think we should just go and look for different solutions. And especially now with technology, there are so many platforms that we can use to get content out there. So it's almost like we're being overwhelmed by the number of platforms we can choose. So now it's a matter of choosing them and then writing a story that makes sense for this platform, but also that makes sense in general for the audience we're trying to target.
All right.
But obviously, I would also mention that it does help to have, you know, the government helping us because I'm based also in the UK. There are so many resources we can tap into from just a learning point of view. They have websites where you can go and learn about the craft. They also have funds that you can tap into to help you, you know, navigate and just get started. So I think the two of them should work together. So then, because it's called an industry for a reason. It's because it makes money, and then secondly, it's a superb way to market your country or your traditions to the rest of the world. And I think sometimes we underestimate how much of a reach we can have with content. So that's why like for example in France they have a special program to invest in French-speaking language content to make sure like the language doesn't die, you know, overwhelmed by English, generally speaking. So there is policies to make sure like we continue to nurture first the filmmakers on the ground, but also widespread the knowledge about our tradition. So I think it should be the same thing that's happening in different countries in Africa and especially Kenya.
All right. Thank you so much, Vanessa, for that. That is Vanessa Ewong-Air. She is the scriptwriter and producer of Virtual Colleagues. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Now, let me quickly go to Juliana before you get to leave us. And maybe, Juliana, we'd love to hear from you as part of the cast, and especially looking at creatives when it comes to building yourself, building your craft, sharpening your skills, looking at the resources that are available to you, and just building yourself as an individual to always be prepared for some of these opportunities.
I think we live in a world where there is so much content. Like, you know, there are so many films, like Kevin was saying earlier on, there's so much that's being, you know, people are producing every day, and it's literally every day. And for you to stand out, for your work to go out there, it's quite simply dedication, motivation, and professionalism. You know, it's not enough to just memorize your lines and learn it. You need to go that much further. Why would your character say a certain word? Do you know what I mean? You have to stay fit, you know, not necessarily look a certain way or be a certain size. Be yourself, but be fit. So do some sort of exercise so that when you have to say your lines, you can deliver them and your energy is there at some point. Yeah, I think that's, as a creative, it's that, and just, you know, take ownership of your craft and push yourself and keep pushing. And you will get rejected and you will get knocked down. Say, look, this is something that I want. It doesn't matter how many times I get knocked down. There's one position somewhere out there in the universe where I will be picked. So I'm going to keep going till I get there.
All right, thank you so much. I love that. Take control of your craft. Love that. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. We wish you the absolute best as you continue on with your journey.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Now, let me come to you, Kevin, as you close this conversation for us. And I just want you to address one more issue. And it's something that you had actually mentioned when we were on break. Issues to do with opportunities and some of these roles for up-and-coming creatives and filmmakers in our country. Tumezoea kuona ma big shot na ma comeback zao. But opportunities for the young creatives who are looking to come up, very briefly.
Oh, they are very minimal, like close to zero. I have a friend who came to Nairobi to pursue acting, film, and she gave up. She went back to Eldred. Nothing. Like, for instance, even for me, I've been hitting, last year, I've been going for auditions after auditions after audition. And man, I've burned a lot of money on the road, like going for auditions. And nothing really. And it's so frustrating when you want to get opportunity and you don't have. And it even goes from bad to worse when you are going for an audition and it's only like the posters or the thing is just being done on for formalities, and they've already like picked the roles, like this thing is real.
The characters already predetermined.
So you are there so composed, you're rehearsing, like, and you're like, I got this. And nobody I went for an audition and we all came together, formed a WhatsApp group. Nobody was called for that role. Nobody for that. And we were like, who was picked now? And it's crazy, man. And so many young people are really giving up and they're really killing their acting dreams because there's no opportunities. It's very minimal. And for those who like are putting shots out there or film out there, even for the internationals who are coming to do films here, they come, they advertise the thing, but then the people who are around them, they just call, yo, kuna hii job imetokea, come through, yo, kuna role, come through, unajua nani, come through. And it's not fair. It's not fair. And I was lucky for the Vanessa role, this one, because it was free and fair. She advertised. I went, sent in the self-tapes, and who was the best one? I mean, whoever was the best was...
Look at you casually saying you're the best. It's okay.
And it took somebody from the UK to get to discover me, to get to know my roles or my talents. While I've been head-to-head and one-on-one with our producers here or casting directors, and they never see something in me. You know, it's heartbreaking.
We need to do better by our people.
Yeah, we need to support, man. We need to support. And also, like, can this thing be transparent even for a little bit? Yeah, just for like a month, and you people, you will see how we have talent.
We will see the difference.
We have talent. We have raw talent down there. So many people are coming into my DMs and they're like, yo, we are seeing you, by the way, doing your thing. How can we get...
Connect.
Like connect, man. Where are these opportunities? And I'm like, I wish you knew. I wish you knew. I wish I had my own production where I can accommodate all of you guys, because I'm feeling for you. It's so hard. It's so hard when somebody has a dream and they don't get the opportunities. Like, where are they? All right. So it's very hard for us.
We need to do better by our local people. And we're not saying that it's always bad. I mean, this is a classic example of how opportunity meets dances with preparation dances with opportunity. So even you as a creative out there who's watching us this morning, just because nothing has come through, it doesn't mean that you give up. You know, timing also has its own way of going about its business. But then again, stay prepared. Don't give up on your craft. We are still growing as a people when it comes to this film space. Well, that is unfortunately all the time we had for this particular conversation. Thank you so much, Kevin, for being with us this morning.
Yeah, and I hope you'll invite us back again. You know.
Definitely. We are. Good Morning Kenya is the plug, man. We are here to support our own. That is Kevin Osore, who is a filmmaker. Now, before I get to wind up, Dee, I know you are very active in this film space. What is your feedback in regards to this whole conversation? Now you are on the other end as the interviewee. You're not Doreen as part of the crew.
Yeah.
Yes, as a filmmaker, as a creative, how is it for you?
I think for me, just also borrowing from what the guest has mentioned, is to create more spaces. And I was really paying attention so much when he mentioned that sometimes you have these rules, auditions are announced, everything is there, but there's a predetermined space. And part of what I've actually come to realize is that it's not only in the film space and theater, in as much as I may be there, but when it comes to what we call sort of like talent jobs, if I can mention. Because every time, everything is laid out, the requirements are put out there, the qualifications they need, but it's just for PR. And you'd wonder, for these young people that we keep saying, we need to give young people jobs, we need to create space and room for them, but all you do is just handpick people that you think are the best without necessarily giving them a space and a platform, then what are we doing? But at least it's, you know, when you have people from outside realizing the kind of gift we have, even as Africans, I think it's more of a wake-up call for us to realize it even more by ourselves. You know, so in as much as, yes, we might have, probably if I can mention, a long way to go, at least here and there we are making strides, hapa na pale, but you know, it's a good fit. So it's been a very beautiful conversation, just talking about film and understanding where we are as a country, the milestones we have made thus far, and probably the things we need to do at least to bridge that gap and fill those holes. Ultimately, we're not yet done with our lifestyle, you know, segment of the day, because we'll be having another conversation about fashion. But before we get to do all of that, I want us to take a very, very quick look on what is happening on our roads in terms of traffic, given the fact that today we were keenly focusing on what is happening along Outer Ring Road, not because there's any ongoing roadworks there per se, at least as of now, but it's just to keep track. Now, the reason as why we are keeping track is simply because I have mentioned to you time and again that Outer Ring Road is the latest, if I can mention, you know, one of those, you know, big major highways to be constructed here in the country, an 8-lane road, and part of what was inclusive in that project, or even as it came to the completion, is the installation of 11 footbridges. All these 11 bridges had been earmarked at different areas and in different places. At least as of now, about 6 have already been installed at different areas, and the other remaining have already also been earmarked at different places. So what we were checking today is how all of this is impacting in traffic in regards to reduction of traffic flow, because the reason as to why this road was being expanded to an 8-lane road was reducing the traffic flow, and also the reason as to why these bridges were being installed in different areas was also reducing the traffic flow. So very, very, very quickly, just to see if things have changed altogether in terms of traffic along Outer Ring Road. And how about we look at that area in which we looked at first or earlier on our first link, and this is as you leave one of those busy roundabouts there, which is the Outer Ring Juja roundabout, Juja Road roundabout. Look at how it is looking like. At least as of now, things have changed altogether, and it looks like the major reason as to why the road was being expanded and why we're also having these footbridges. If you can remember, again, also the last footbridge to be installed along this route or this road happened mid last year, and this was around this area, Pioneer Estate, just before you get to the Outer Ring Juja roundabout. And the traffic flow as of now, green. In fact, on major parts of this roundabout, it's just green all through. On some minor sections is where there's a bit of a traffic, and this is as you leave the roundabout, as you enter into Juja Road, and also as you leave the roundabout, they are coming all through Outer Ring Road before you get to branch off to some of those, you know, other slip roads or minor roads along this route. And again, also as you head over to Komarok Road, at least on that section, looks like things have opened up altogether. You can remember earlier on, there was a bit of a, you know, heavy traffic, especially on that section as you head over to Juja Road. But at least as of now, things have opened up. So for our viewers intending rather to use this route, or those that are using this route this morning, it's a smooth sailing for you all through as you head over to the city center. Just again, a slight snarl up as you leave the roundabout there, as I mentioned, but all through and through, coming all the way to the CBD, at least a smooth sailing on some parts where you'll have to make do with the traffic, but it's not throughout the entire road. And again, also for our viewers coming from the areas around Thika Superhighway, if at all you intend to use Juja Road, or even if you're leaving city center, coming through Juja Road, if you're getting to Outer Ring Road, as well as also branching off there, heading to the other side of Manyanja Road, Jogo Road, on that section there, smooth sailing, no traffic at all. But again, also it's very important for me to mention that Juja Road is not one of those busy roads in as much as it branches off from this major roundabout there. So ultimately that could also be the reason as to why we are not witnessing the kind of heavy traffic that probably we would witness on areas or on roads such as Jogo Road. On that section again, also where that bridge was just installed mid last year, at, just again before you get the roundabout there, also heavy kind of traffic, but it's also specific only on that section as you get to the roundabout where there's a heavy gridlock there. That's why you're seeing that maroon color there, but ultimately at least it's smooth sailing on major parts of that route. So that is how it is looking like in terms of traffic. As of now, our focus has keenly been on Outer Ring Road. We take again a very another short break, but we'll be back with that conversation on better understanding fashion industry here in the country. And welcome back to the program. As I promised, Good Morning Kenya is not yet done. We're right in time for our last conversation this morning. Still on our lifestyle segment, we want to focus on fashion industry and fashion business. We'll also be trying to keenly focus on how probably culture to some extent may be a deterrent or for us, especially as Africans and even Kenyans, when it comes to matters embracing new trends in fashion. On set, I'm joined by Fauzia Ramadan, who is a fashion designer at Kiafrika. Fauzia, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Easy, relaxed?
Yeah. Quite a morning, but I'm okay.
You're okay?
Yes, thank you.
So let's just start, with breaking down, fashion as it is, because there are so many things as it pertains to fashion. It comes to style, what makes someone to be regarded as a fashionista and all of that. But for you, as someone who's in that particular space, fashion design, what does fashion mean to you?
Fashion is a lifestyle that we all embrace. It comes in different forms. There's a dress code, there's a setup of the environment, your space, everything that happens around you. So basically on my end, it's just about the style that I am into, style that everyone else is into, and how everybody perceives style in their life.
How everyone perceives style in their life. That is what fashion means to you. Maybe you can break it down further for us, at least to understand when you say how everyone perceives fashion, because fashion to everyone means different things. So what do you mean by that?
So let's talk about Kenya. I've come to realize that most of the time when you want to see fashion, you go to events. So it depends on the type of event that someone is attending. We could have the wedding events, all the cultural setups. There's so many gigs that are happening around the young people, the lifestyle. And basically when we talk about now my fashion line, about the kitenges and all that stuff, this is something that has come up since way in the back. But I noticed, like, long time ago, only older people used to dress up in kitenges and all that type of style. But nowadays, young people are embracing it. We have different types of clothing that young people are actually comfortable wearing. And when they attend their events, like fashion high teas and all that, they come to embrace fashion as it is. Yeah.
Wow, at least well elaborated there. Now, let's look at you choosing it as a career path and something you'd probably want to do, because again, when you look at the African continent or even coming down to Kenya as a country, these are things that you wouldn't hear someone say, fashion for me is a career. Fashion designing is a career. Someone will tell you, I'm doing job AB, I'm just trying to do this on the side. I'm trying to venture into kitengas on the side. I'm trying to venture into jeans on the side to see if it actually works. But for you, you are like fully fledged gone into fashion design. And I'd want to better understand from you why you chose this one as a specific career. What influenced that?
What influenced me getting into fashion, there's a creative mind, the part of me that is creative. I did fashion and design, art and design. So that drove me into creativity. I'm actually supposed to be like a TV producer or something, but I decided to venture into fashion as a lifestyle. There was need to change the fashion industry, especially in Kenya. So I just wanted to make sure like we give our best. We change the like tailoring industry and the tailor notion that no tailor is good. Fundi mzuri ni kinyozi, something like that. So like the passion, I was driven by passion. I was driven by the cultural practices around, and then also the changes in the fashion industry in Kenya and all over the world. Yeah, that made me want to venture into fashion. And also, when I was young, I used to like watching the fashion shows. So that gave me the drive, and I was like, oh, one day maybe I may do this as a career. So when I started, I actually started by making accessories. So when I started with accessories like earrings, bangles, and mostly were like African fabric coated accessories.
Accessories where you began.
Yes.
So just hold that thought right there. We'll be coming to embark on that in a bit and to better understand how you morphed and evolved to different things, right?
Yeah.
So we take a very quick break here on the program, but you're not yet done with the conversation. After this break, we continue with Matters Fashion Industry.
Malaria ni ugonjwa hatari sana unaoua watu wengi hapa Kenya. Japo kuko na korona, hatari ya malaria bado iko. Mtoto huyu alikuwa na joto jingi, kutetemeka, kuumwa na viungo na uchovu. Alikimbizwa hospitali ya umma ambako sheria za COVID-19 huzingatiwa na ni salama kwa shughuli ya upimaji. Vipimo vilionyesha kuwa ana malaria, na papo hapo daktari akampa dawa za malaria na kumshauri azimalize, na ili kujikinga wawe wakilala ndani ya neti iliyotibiwa. Malaria husambazwa na mbu. Walio hatarini ni watoto wa chini ya miaka 5 na akina mama wajawazito. Kupimwa na kutibiwa ni bure katika hospitali zote za umma. Usisahau adui malaria. Zero malaria huanza na mimi. Chukua jukumu leo. Komesha malaria. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwenu na Wizara ya Afya.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Nakwambia 2021 ni vitu noma na QuickBid. Siku ya leo tunakupea Hisense TV.
Oh yes, na ni rahisi sana. Unaenda kwenye lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number ni 4032353. 4032353. Kwenye account ekelea TV kama code kisha nambari unapenda, alafu amount ni 20 bob.
Peke yake. Alafu kumbuka utakelea pin yako. Hivyo ndivyo utakuwa umekelea bid kwenye quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka ni bidhaa bora kwenye bei ya
chini kwa chini.
Chini kwa chini.
Jiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16, kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio ununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
On the next episode of
Nini? Unajua sina hii. Una nini? Mimi sijui una nini.
Boxer. Rudisha glasi ndani. Kama uko na kiu ngonga maji. Tudi.
Hata zangu zile nimekuwa nikivaa. Azifue.
Tangu ukuja hazijasafishwa.
Tangu nije hapa.
on the next episode.
Ustawishaji wa muundombinu ni muhimu katika kuafikia nguzo kuu ya maendeleo ya Rais Uhuru Kenyatta. Daraja la Likoni ni uwekezaji unaowaokolea watu wengi muda mwingi. wiki hii kwenye Project 254.
Katika feri umeona pale kuweka nidhamu kidogo ni shida. Hasa lakini hapa it gives you freedom, it gives you space.
Kama kuna investors wenye biashara, hii ni opportunity nzuri ya kuinvest upande wa Likoni.
Nilisikia raha sana vile imejengwa. Nikatembea kama na paa.
Na miradi kama hii tunatarajia iwe mingi pia ili tuchape kazi.
And welcome back to the program. We are still joined with Fauzia Ramadan, and you're still focusing on fashion business, fashion design, and the evolution of this particular space here in the country. Before we went on break, Fauzia, we were talking about also just trying to better understand matters online, having an online shop and having a physical shop, and also trying to better understand your creative process as a person. So maybe you can just go back to that piece of the creativity, because at least we know that you got into this space because it was a passion, you loved it, and you decided that this is going to be my full career, not something on the side. So what really goes into your creative process when it comes to designing clothes or designing pieces for customers or clients?
So as we had talked earlier, this is something that happened. I started working on accessories and then started supplying them online. So there was this demand for my accessories to match clothes. So people kept asking, why don't you have accessories? Why don't you have clothes to match your accessories? And that's when I thought of it. Like I had no idea how to go about the clothing part. So I started doing my research, finding out what do people like. And at that time, I didn't quite understand the young people because I wanted to associate myself with them more. So I just walked into a store somewhere downtown. It was my first time. I went to that store. I talked to some tailor. I asked them, if I have this idea, would you be in a position to produce my idea so that I could sell my idea to my clients? And then we set up meetings and everything went ahead well. So I just started sketching. I wasn't also good at sketching, but I tried to get different concepts, putting them together. And then also the culture around is someone brings their own picture and you're supposed to like do a duplicate of that. But you know, sometimes you don't want to like copy too much. What you do is you talk to the client, you like guide them through about the design, their body structure in the design.
Okay.
Yes.
Right, Fauzia, I would really love us to continue having this conversation because you know, tumeanza tu.
Yes.
But you know, sometimes parts of live TV you have to pave way for a live broadcast. But we will definitely have another time where we can have this conversation even further more to better understand more about fashion industry because there's a lot that goes into this space. There's a lot of there's a culture influence when it comes to matters fashion. All right, so that has been Fauzia Ramadan, the fashion designer of Key Africa. Just as I mentioned, we'll probably be getting another time to continue with this conversation. But as of now, we want to pave way for live proceedings from National Assembly. And actually, that is also where we bring Good Morning Kenya show to a close this Wednesday. From me and on behalf of the entire team, we say thank you so much for watching. Till tomorrow, have a beautiful morning.
My name is Edward Kabasa. We'll take a look at the order of business this morning, where a number of procedural motions have been lined up. They will be moved by the leader of the majority party. These procedural motions, they seek to limit debate on bills sponsored by parties or committees. They also seek to limit debate on individual members' bills. The procedural motions also seek to limit debate on motions as well, as committee reports of audit committees, debate on session of papers, as well as limitation of debate on the address by the Parliament. The procedural motions will seek to limit debate on reports of constitutional commissions and independent offices, debate on annual estimates and committee of supply, If you're just joining us, the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Moses Cheboy, has walked into the chambers, and now we'll hand you over for this live broadcast.
Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to performance of important trust in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberations in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interest you've committed to our charge. Amen. Other members, we obviously don't have the required quorum, and I therefore order the bell to be rung for 10 minutes.
But respective leadership in the House is currently mobilizing members. That quorum bell will ring for 10 minutes. If that number 50 is not achieved, then the Speaker will again order the bell to be rung. That is courtesy of the standing orders. This morning, there will be a motion by the leader of the majority party on the approval of the calendar of the House for the 5th session 2021. Among the notable proposals there is the suspension of Wednesday morning and afternoon sittings from February 17th, 2021, as well as the sitting of the House on Wednesday, February 10th, 2021 afternoon shall also stand suspended. This is according to the motion on the calendar of the House for the 5th session 2021. Proposals there include Thursday morning sitting from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., Thursday afternoon sitting from 2:30 to 6:30 p.m. and Thursday's evening sitting from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Perhaps to make up for the suspension of Wednesday morning and afternoon sittings. This is subject to approval by the members of the National Assembly. That motion will be moved by the leader of the majority party in the National Assembly. There is also another proposal, individual members' business, that notwithstanding the provisions of Standing Order 40 subsection 1, I beg your pardon, on Thursday morning, business not sponsored by the majority party, the minority party, or a committee shall have precedence over all other business in such order as the House Business Committee shall determine. Commencement of the 6th session, that notwithstanding the provision of Standing Order 27 subsection 1 providing for the date of commencement of a new session, the House shall resume for the 6th session on Tuesday, January 25th, 2022 at 2:30 p.m. That is also proposed in the calendar of the House for the 5th session 2021. That motion will be moved by the leader of the majority party. We are waiting for quorum of the House, and as we speak, the quorum bell is being rung, and it is important to note that due to the health protocols provided by the Ministry of Health, the National Assembly has moved to ensure that social distancing is adhered to. The chamber, which normally hosts all members of the National Assembly, can only accommodate a limited number of members, and other spaces have been provided for members to utilize and participate in the legislative process. The House is looking to ensure that it is able to stem the spread of COVID-19 within the precincts of Parliament. This is the second sitting of the National Assembly after the long recess. Yesterday, the members of the National Assembly did convene. They did approve the list of nominees to the House Business Committee. The members also did take some time to eulogize the late former cabinet minister and former member of parliament for Nyaribari Chache, Honorable Simeon Yachai, who passed on last week. The members of parliament did pay glowing tributes to their fallen former colleague, and that is in keeping with the tradition of the National Assembly. Just a quick recap of the business which will be debated this morning. A number of procedural motions have been lined up, and these procedural motions seek to limit debate on various businesses. It includes individual bills, debate on motions, debate on committee reports, debate on reports of audit committees, debate on sessional papers, debate on the address by the President, debate on reports of constitutional commissions and independent officers, debate on annual estimates and committee of supply. The procedural motions will also seek to limit debate on the Senate amendments to bills originating in the National Assembly, as well as consideration of certain businesses or business received during the recess periods. The House will also debate a motion by the leader of the majority party on the approval of the calendar of the House for the 5th session 2021, which began yesterday. Among the notable amendments to the calendar of the National Assembly is the suspension of Wednesday February 10th, 2021 afternoon sitting. Normally the House do sit on Wednesday morning and Wednesday afternoon, but according to the proposed changes, those sittings that the House ought to have had on Wednesday will be suspended should the members approve the calendar for the House for the 5th session.
So therefore, I invoke Standing Order number 34, which allows me to ask that it can ring for another further 5 minutes. And that's the order I make. Another 5 minutes. Yes.
The House has not been able to achieve the requisite quorum needed for business to commence. The quorum bell was initially rung for 10 minutes, but the Speaker has invoked the standing orders to order for the quorum bell to be rung for another 5 minutes, so that those members who are within the vicinity or within the precincts of Parliament can take their seat either in the chamber or other spaces which have been provided for by the House leadership to be utilized as chambers. They include the members' lounge as well as other spaces which have been designated to operate as the chamber, considering that the House cannot accommodate all the members due to the guidelines provided by the Ministry of Health in regards to the war on COVID-19. The quorum bell will be rung for 5 minutes, and hopefully the House will be able to quorate so that the business that is meant to be transacted by the House can proceed. Standing Order number 34 on quorum at commencement of the House says that a quorum of the House or a committee of the whole shall be 50 members. If there is not a quorum present when the chair is taken, at the time appointed for a meeting of the House immediately after the saying of the prayer, the Speaker shall order the bell to be rung for 10 minutes. And if no quorum is present at the expiration of the 10 minutes, the Speaker may direct that the bell be rung for a further 5 minutes. And if there is still no quorum present, the Speaker shall adjourn the House forthwith to the next sitting.
The following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, February 10th, 2021. First paper is the report of the Auditor General and financial statements in respect to the Capital Markets Authority for the year ended 30th of June 2020 and the certificates therein. Number two, the reports of the Auditor General and the financial statements in respect of the following institutions for the year ended 30th of June 2019 and the certificates therein. One is the Rural Enterprise Fund. Number two, the Prisons, Farms Revolving Fund. Number three, the National Exchequer Account. Number four, the Africa Union and other international organizations subscription fund. Number five, the Veterinary Services Development Fund. Number six, the Kenya Energy Sector Environment and Social Responsibility Program Fund. Number seven, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Staff Mortgage and Car Loan Scheme. Number eight, the State Department for Devolution. And number nine, the State Department for Tourism.
Very well. Let's go to the next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
We will start with Let's start with the statement. Let's have the statement. I think it's the only one we have. The member for Chebalungu.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for giving me this opportunity to air statement. This is a request for statement on leopard menace in Chebalungu constituency. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 42.2c, I seek to request a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Environmental and Natural Resources regarding failure by the Kenya Wildlife Service to address an ongoing leopard menace in Chebalungu constituency. Honorable Speaker, I wish to bring to the attention of the House the presence of a leopard having 4 cubs that is causing havoc in Simbeyuet village, being one location, Shongroi ward of Chebalungu constituency, which I represent. The leopard, which was first spotted 5 months ago, has so far killed 10 goats, 5 donkeys, and several dogs while hiding in a nearby sugarcane farm owned by Professor Simeon Maritim. Honorable Speaker, I have personally restraining the villagers against confronting the leopard in spite of the mounting losses. However, their patience is gradually wearing out in view of the fact that the continuous danger posed by the leopard living in their midst is causing unbearable tension and anxiety. School-going children heading to school early in the morning or coming late after preps are doing so in great fear. And the same anxiety has also affected work in farms because of fear of imminent leopard attacks. Honorable Speaker, Chebalungu constituency hosts several forests and also neighbors the Masai Mara Game Reserve. And as a result, human life conflicts are the order of the day. Despite efforts by myself and other leaders to sensitize our people not to kill wild animals whenever they stray to their farms, the KWS has proven to be unreliable and an impediment in this campaign. Honorable Speaker, I have on numerous occasions approached KWS to trap the leopard and take it back to the forest, but my pleas and advice have fallen on deaf ears. KWS has never made any effort to trap the animal, nor has it contacted the people who have lost livestock to the leopard with a view to compensating them. Honorable Speaker, it is on account of these concerns that I seek for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Environment and Natural Resources on the following: within which specific timelines shall the KWS capture and relocate the leopard and its cubs from the aforementioned residential area in order to forestall the possibility of residents taking the matter into their own hands? Number 2, what form of compensation will KWS provide for residents who have lost livestock to the marauding leopard, and within which timeline shall be compensation be undertaken? What short and long-term measures does the government have in addressing perpetual human-wildlife conflicts occasioned when wild animals stray into human settlements? Thank you, Honorable Speaker. It's something that really needs urgent attention, because now the school-going children and farming activities has been stopped for a while because of this wild leopard. Thank you, Speaker.
That's obviously a very serious and dire situation. And I'll give a few members to buttress the statement that you are going to, the receipt of what you have. So let me give a few more members. And probably I'll give 4. I will be looking out at members whom I know are very close to the situation, like what Honorable Member for Chebalungu is. And let me start with the Leader of Minority. Then I can also see somebody who is very close to Savo there, another one close to Meru National Park, and another one close to Masai Mara, in that order. And then I'll see if you want an extra few, then we can finish it.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for allowing me to make
short or quick remarks on this statement sought by my very good friend, who actually we attended the same college with, but at different times. Mr. Speaker, the MP for Chepalungu. Mr. Speaker, I just want to say that the KWS needs to be serious about human-wildlife conflict. Mr. Speaker, I think the people of Kenya love wildlife, but that love should not be taken for granted. I come from a constituency that hosts or where Roma National Park sits. The problem that faces Chepalungu with the leopard is the same problem that the Roma National Park is exposing my constituents to. The wildlife destroy crops, they sometimes attack people, and there is no, even when they come to your home, Mr. Speaker, KWS has even offering apology, simple apology from wildlife, KWS. You can't get that. Those of us who border Lake Victoria, we have a very big problem with hippos, Mr. Speaker, which these hippos come out of the lake at night and get into our farms and destroy crops. But when the citizens attack hippos, KWS react with a lot of anger. Yet the hippos come out and attack human beings. So, Mr. Speaker, the question you want to ask as a country, much as wildlife is very important to the economy of this country, between the life of a hippo, a leopard, or a human being, which one should be given a priority? That is a question that we need to ask. So the committee needs to expand their investigation on this matter to address the whole question of human-wildlife conflict, all the way from Savo, with Masai Mara, Amboseli, Roma National Park, Chepalungu, everywhere in the country, so that we have a policy in place that deals with this problem.
Okay.
Thank you, Mrs.
Okay. The rest of the members who will be speaking to it, please be very brief, because it is not ordinary that we are giving you to comment on statements. So let's have the member, Honorable Mwadime, and let us be very, very brief so that the rest of the membership can have some say.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
I don't know why you are not very audible. I think the mic is not very good. So in the meantime, as you quickly move there, please. Quickly move to the dispatch mic. And let's be very brief, please.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all, I'm wishing a health year to all my colleagues here. Mr. Speaker, same problem which has just been raised on wildlife. First of all, Mr. Speaker, I think our priorities are the ones which are not okay. You know, when we are passing the Wildlife Act 2013, we said that budget committee should always allocate money to KWS so that they can fence up all areas. Like in my area, there's a fence between Mgeno to Buguta up to Kasarau. This fence we have been talking since 2014, but up to this very moment, nothing has been done, and there's a lot of damage because there are hyenas, leopards, lions, etc. And at the same time, where we say that they do fence, it's very interesting. They misuse the government money because there's a place where there's a hill between Cecil Estate and Mbwana Mumu. In between the two, people go for money.
Now I'll have a problem if you go to the specifics. Because if you go to the specifics, then it means you need to ask for your own statement. So I would be happy with a situation whereby, of course, we are talking about the generalities of the human-wildlife conflict.
Anyway, Mr. Speaker, thank you,
Yes.
but I support the concern raised by my colleague.
Thank you,
Mr.
Mwadime.
Speaker.
Honorable Sankok.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity, because this human-wildlife conflict is not very new to us from Narok, and you know Chepalungu borders Narok, and I know the specific location It is in near Shongroi, where we have Moi Shongroi. Some of us have our kids in that school, and it is very dangerous, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker and Honorable Mbadi will agree with me today that this is a thought-out idea from a very educated member of this House, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it is risky because when a leopard gives birth, it must feed the kids. And in the process of feeding the kids, the easier target is actually human beings. Because human beings will not be able...
Let's be very clear, Honorable Sanko, not the kids, the cubs. Because if the kids is probably something else.
Honorable Speaker, what are you insinuating? You are insinuating that I'm not well learned. Anyway, Honorable Speaker.
No. I have no intention at all to insinuate anything. I'm just for purposes of record.
This is a reserve of
the people who will be answering to that statement might actually start working on the basis that there are some kids involved. So
I'm saying when the leopard have cubs, it must feed the cubs and feed itself because it have lost a lot. The female honorable members know that after maternity, you really need some time to be fed. So in the process of feeding, it will go for the easier target. The easier target, Honorable Speaker, is you and me, because first, we don't smell, our eyesight is not that very hard, and again, we can be able, we are not able to run faster than the leopard, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, so the easier target is human beings. So the people of Chapalungu are at risk, Honorable Speaker. And coming from Narok, we have really lost a lot of people to leopard and to other carnivorous animals, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, the wildlife KWS should move with speed and save the people of Chapalungu. And in case that we have loss of human life, that blood will be upon the head of Kenya Wildlife Service. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Dawood. And that will be the last one. The rest of the members, you can go to the committees when it's being responded to. I can see there is a lot of interest.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to add my voice to the Honorable Member for Chepalungu. Mr. Speaker, in my constituency, we have had a rhino arc doing a fence. 2 days back, a big elephant was killed because it's been terrorizing our people. Mr. Speaker, I agree with the minority leader that we, as a house, we need to put aside more funds to pay compensation for wildlife because, Mr. Speaker, from 2013, 2014 to date, we are not being paid. Our people are not being paid. So, Mr. Speaker, as a house, we need to set aside more funds like what Mheshimiwa Mwadime has said, so that we can pay our people for destruction. And KWS should do much more because what they are doing is they are not doing enough. They need to protect our people, otherwise people will take arms in their hands and elephants and all the other wildlife will go wherever they want to go. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Now, seeing the mood of the House, I'll add only two more very briefly. I will look out for the crocodile invested areas, and then I will again, let's start, and then minorities here. Let's start with the Honorable Member for Tharaka. One word, and then I go to this other direction. I'll look out for anybody who has issues with the lake.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also support the request for statement by the Honorable Member for Chepalungu. And for the first time, let me be the devil's advocate by saying KWS has done something along the Meru National Park where it borders Tharaka and the rest of the constituencies neighboring that park. Fencing is ongoing despite of the fact that it's quite slow, but the animals are actually still marauding in the area and we are suffering great loss and damage. But most important is the question of snakes in the dry areas, which, whether they like it or not, they are also wild animals and they are causing a lot of harm to human beings through snake bites. We try to seek compensation. We are told no, there isn't sufficient money to compensate those who have suffered snake bites. But time has come for money to be allocated to KWS so that these people who suffer these bites are actually compensated.
Okay. I am told the crocodiles are more inclined to the northern Nyanza the Southern Nyanza have already spoken about the hippos. Let's have the member for Kisumu Town West, Honorable Luoch. I have been informed
Mr. Speaker.
I have been informed, and I think that probably would be confirmed by Honorable Lago, that the Southern Nyanza lake is a bit too deep for the crocodiles, so they are better off in the northern one. Proceed, Honorable Lago.
Mr. Speaker, every time this House debates on the issue of human-wildlife conflict, we seem to forget that crocodiles and hippos are wildlife under the Act. And in my constituency, and I think all other constituencies around Lake Victoria, wildlife conflict between hippos, crocodiles, and fishermen is so rampant that lives have been lost, people have been maimed. I have had to once call a big meeting between KWS and the fishermen to discuss how they can coexist. But what I realize is KWS seems to treat wildlife as more precious than human life. And I think we better understand that within the Wildlife Act 2013, if a life of a human being is at danger, then that human being has an obligation to protect that life by killing that wildlife. We should understand that part. Wildlife is not more sacrosanct than human life. Mr. Speaker, in the upper parts of my constituency, in Kingley, for example, there are baboons that are very wise and they are very clever. Every time people want to chase them out of farms, the alpha male will stay behind and start pointing at women and shake at the heads like you are very stupid women. And that's an alpha male baboon. Mr. Speaker, in Kisumu West, for example, right from Musoma to the other beaches in Achuda and the others, human lives have been lost. And I think the time has come for us to make it very clear to KWS, like Honorable Madia said, if they're not able to offer the slightest apology to the people who are concerned, then at least they should be moving fast enough to compensate the people. Otherwise, the fishermen in Kisumu West are going to take the law into their hands and kill these hippos and crocodiles. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, I am not going to give any more members. The rest of the membership can please go to the committee when it will be responded to. And that one is referred to the relevant committee, that's the Committee on Environment. And I would wish to see an indication of whether the chair is here or his vice or any member from that particular committee. If not, I will ask the majority leader to probably communicate to the chair, tell them that it would be good if they responded to this one in 2 weeks maximum, because it's actually a live issue that is still creating some tension in that particular area. So let's go to the next one, which is by Honorable Wamunyinyi, the statement by Honorable Wamunyinyi, who actually made a request, and I acceded to that because it's an important statement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The statement I want to give is on the status of receipts and disbursement of funds as of 9th February 2021 to our constituencies, Mr. Speaker. Now, Mr. Speaker, the National Government Constituency Development Fund Board has received a total of 20 billion for financial year 2020-2021 against an allocation of 41 billion for this financial year, Mr. Speaker. That is to say about 50% of this year's allocation has been disbursed. Mr. Speaker, I have details of this disbursement, how it has been received from the Treasury, including the dates, and the last was on 4th of February 2021. This is not been released to the constituencies. That's about 2 billion shillings, Mr. Speaker. Now, the funds have been disbursed to the various constituencies against financial year 2020-2021 budgetary allocations and pending disbursements for previous financial years. Now, I think it's important, Mr. Speaker, that members pay attention to this one. the funds have been disbursed to this year's allocation, but also the pending previous financial years. Constituencies that have not received funds for the previous financial years have also been given the funds. And I've got a list of constituencies which have received, you know, the arrears for the last financial year. It's popularly known as arrears, Mr. Speaker. Now, of the 20 billion, 18 billion has been disbursed. 2 billion was received on 4th and is yet to be disbursed, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also have details of how much has been disbursed for this year, like for 2020-2021 financial year, to all the constituencies, only 2.364 billion has been disbursed towards this financial year, and that is about 9 million per constituency. Mr. Speaker, I've just said, you pay attention, out of 20 billion, I mean, I would like you to